Welcome back, everyone, to the Topwater Live Studios, where we are set to embark on another Topwater World Series of Fishing qualifier. Tonight we are previewing the Huron division as these anglers take out on Wolverine Lake in southeast Michigan. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. As always, I'm joined at the table by Mr. Matthew Diesel from Fishing with Diesel.
How's it going, everyone?
Thanks for coming back tonight, sir.
Not a problem. I'm here every Wednesday.
I love it.
What I do.
I'm excited to showcase to everyone this Huron divisional qualifying event. A lot of spectacular anglers competing in this, some really big sticks, going out catching some really nice fish for tonight's episode.
This is a lake I know absolutely nothing about, so I'm going to have to follow your lead or tell me what's what. And I know probably half the field, if that. So a lot of guys I don't know. Some I do, but most it's going to be all new to me.
It's a good lake, so it should be exciting for you sitting at the table to watch this unfold.
Super exciting. Every time I watch these, I'm excited.
You know, being on the camera boat during this event, it was great to get that, sneak peek of what came out
So
of
Mike's
this
already
competition.
Mike's already got some inside knowledge of what's going down, so I'm watching everything for the first time.
And I'm a big fan of this lake that they're on, fishing on Wolverine Lake over in southeast Michigan. It's a really pretty lake. There's some channels to move about, so you're going to see guys fishing in some random spots,
So
if you've never been there before.
fishing a little bit of everything, you're going to have obviously nice shallow water, some deep channels.
It's a good fish catching lake. We've had several events there, league night events over the last couple of years, and it's a lake that produces.
That's what we like to see and what we like to hear.
Absolutely.
A place we're going to get some numbers.
It's going to be a good time tonight, folks. Again, thanks for joining us here at the studio. And here we're going to get started as our anglers are getting prepared to launch here at the ramp on Wolverine Lake. Get a little sneak peek of everybody's kayaks and their setups before they disperse amongst the lake. You can hear a little bit of the gossip going on, some dock talk here before everybody gets started.
Got a nice mix.
Mr. Cody Salzman there getting geared up. Ryan Curtis there in the Papaya Hobie. Mr. Culbertson out there with the paddle in his hands.
I've seen one guy come out with live scope. It makes me real jealous.
I've got a live scope.
Mr. Llama.
Yeah, he's got the little, it's like this.
Looks like we got Chris's back camera right now.
Just to the right of Culbertson there, you can see Dylan Heinrich getting set up. That's Brian Anderson and his native there.
It looks considerably warmer this go around. I'm seeing some bare feet.
You're going to notice that trend as we continue on with our World Series of Fishing adventures here. The weather started to warm up as we got farther along into the qualifying season.
Who'd have thunk? Michigan, the later in the year we get, the warmer it gets.
Absolutely.
Cody, you've got like...
There's Dylan there, back view of Dylan Heinrich's kayak.
That's why I got mine in black.
I believe he's floating out of a shearwater there. For all of these league night events, this is one of my favorite parts of the league setup is everybody staging together at the ramp, getting ready to shotgun start together. It's a great way to meet some new anglers, check out some people's gear, how they've got their kayaks all rigged up and set up.
This is always my favorite thing. Just walk around, so like meet people, check out a boat.
Whoa,
Like, oh,
all right.
Almost started off real bad.
Mr. Curtis got pretty excited about that national anthem kicking off. That would have been a terrible way to start his day.
That's one way to see if they're biting. To get an eye lock, to get them, look them right in the eye.
That could have been glorious.
You had good balance. Like a cat. Like a cat. You got your
Got
heart
good
pumping?
balance. I'm fine like that.
I am alive. I am alive.
Now you're gonna be real sharp.
Right.
Listening to these guys talk with each other, it's always a good time. Such a good crowd of people.
I remember there was a no wake on this.
It was nice. I think it's later in the
Last time it was gorgeous, man. Like almost no wind. There was
This
a,
is better than it's been all
there
week.
was a really cute lady watching me on some of her dock last night.
How's the lady doing good?
She's good, man. We just got a new puppy, so she's so happy.
That's Mr. Culbertson talking about a new puppy.
Out with the puppy. I tried to get her in a big bath.
Mr. Salzman there getting geared up.
I gotta take her to Lake St. Clair. But she's got paddle kayaks. I don't
So
know.
for anybody watching this that's not familiar with a league format here at Topwater, so for all of our league night events, we have all of our anglers meet at the same launch point, and everybody has a chance to get their kayaks all staged out, relatively close to the ramp. I think within about 30 yards is a safe distance to try and stay within the ramp before we get started. That way we can get everybody in the water, all geared up, ready to go. And then at about 10 minutes to lines in is go time, where we shotgun start together. Everyone leaves at the same time. You spread yourselves out amongst the lake. Give you about 10 minutes to get to a starting point before lines in time. And then we fish for 3 hours. Typically, an average league night is a weeknight series where we fish from 6 to 9 p.m. And in those 3 hours, the goal is to get those 5 fish, get those best 5 fish you can, total length, in a 3-hour time span. And
That's a lot harder than you. It sounds a lot easier.
it's
Like, oh, I can catch
super
5
difficult. You think, oh, I got 3 hours to go out and fish.
I can
Not
do
a
it.
big deal. If you've never been to these bodies of water before, which is another cool aspect of a league night, is you're forced to adapt. Every event is typically on a different body of water. Some big, some small, some rivers, and so you have to change up your style and your tactics.
That's
and
the nice thing about the league events. There's not a whole lot of time to put that extra time on the water in there. So it's just like everyone's going in there really relatively blind.
Sure.
Because you're just like, oh, we're just going to go fishing.
That's where some pre-event preparation can come into play. Not a lot of people get the chance to go out and do some fun pre-fishing, but you can definitely do some lake study, some map study, go online, talk to some other anglers, get some ideas about where to go, where to start, where to finish.
Yeah, that's my standard pre-event preparation. Usually it's hard for me to get away to go to pre-fish. Maybe I'll get one day, like a week or two beforehand. So it's a lot of map study, a lot of just looking at Google Maps, looking at old
It's pretty
Navionics
rare
charts.
if I get the opportunity to go out and pre-fish. So I'm relying on that one time that I was there for last year.
Last year at the same time, or last year when it
Or
was cold. I have no
a
idea
lot
what I'm
of
doing.
social media talk, gabbing. But honestly,
He'll get it.
something I personally need to work on is that map study and that preparedness. I do tend to do some map study. It's usually right about now where I'm sitting in my kayak and we've got 5 minutes
So you're
to
looking at your phone, like, I'm going to go here.
I normally, my normal, tradition for these league nights, whenever we shotgun start, is I'll let everybody go, and then I'll make a decision of like, all right, 20 out of the 30 went to the right, so I'm gonna go to the left, and I always try to space myself out away from everybody. It's probably why I'm sitting at this table and not
fishing.
camera.
Yeah, it's
I actually qualified for this for this Huron division qualifier here, but felt it was more important to be on the camera boat.
More important to put in the work than to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, right.
I'm just gonna get a new cradle to one of my 10-inch crafts.
I enjoy watching these anglers go out and fish and compete and just hanging out with them, and it's always a really good time.
It depends how much I want to be into it, you know.
Mr. Cantwell there making his way out onto the water. That blue and orange native.
Smiley's thing looks like a gun, man.
Getting messages here from the producer, Mr. Van Leuven, because I failed to acknowledge that he qualified for the Lakeshore World Series of Fishing Qualifier and opted to run the camera boat as well, like myself. So congratulations, Kyle, on that Lakeshore Qualifier that you opted out of.
I can order 6 units a year.
Ready?
All right, here we go with that national anthem. We'll pause here. All right. So as you see the anglers there finishing up that national anthem, they are ready to shotgun start and make a break across that lake, spread themselves out to get in position for lines in time. Something I've noticed right out of the gate here compared to our last 2 qualifying episodes, some diversity on the kayaks this week.
I see more brands than what we're used to seeing. The last 2 episodes have been dominated by your Hobies and your Old Towns, and now we're seeing a nice little mixed bag. We're seeing some few natives.
A couple natives in there, some
Saw
shearwaters
Vibe in there.
Yeah. So interesting to see how that'll play out. It's pretty cool to see the diversity of the kayaks getting mixed up here.
I think I saw our first paddle-only kayak. I'm pretty sure I saw an Ascend sitting on the bank, ready to get in the water.
Yeah, Mr. Cody Salzman rocking that Ascend out there. So that'll be interesting. You know, that Tri-Cities qualifier, all Hobies. Last week's episode on the Lakeshore edition, predominantly Old Towns. And then this week, a nice mix here of Hobies, Shearwaters, Ascends, and natives out there. So you guys will get a good chance to check out these kayaks if you're not familiar with that brand and seeing how everyone accessorizes those particular kayaks and gets geared up. So I always like seeing that, and again, I just talked about it a couple minutes ago. That's one of the coolest things about
looking at
these league nights,
looking at
is
everyone's
scoping
rigs
out
to see
everybody's
what's
stuff.
like. Oh, you do that way? That's kind of cool. I'm going to steal that idea and I'm going to do it myself.
It's a great way to come up with some, DIY projects that you can do it yourself.
And who doesn't love showing off their kayak? Because someone's going to come up to you and ask you questions like, "Oh yeah, I did this myself." You're just super proud of the work you've done to your boat.
Heck yeah, that's one of the funnest things. I love doing those DIY projects or adding accessories like Yak Attack gear and stuff like that to your boat and getting it exactly the way you want it to go out and fish these fun events. So I think we're going to head back with our starting lineups here in just a second for this Huron division. We're going to start with Mr. Chris Culbertson here, hailing from Ann Arbor, Michigan, fishing out of that Hobie Pro Angler. Third in AOY that season with 4 top 5s. So pretty productive season Mr. Culbertson has had here. And a nice career stat where he picked up that Michigan Kayak Trail Angler of the Year East last year. So,
Angler of the Year is hard to do.
Heck yeah, it is. So moving on to the next.
Looks like we have Dylan Heinrich out of Port Huron, Michigan. fishing out of that Vibe Shearwater kayak. For her season, 4th place in the Angler of the Year and 4 top 5 finishes. And for his career, he had the 2020 Huron Underdog Champion.
Yeah, great season for Dylan there. He has fished amazing these last couple years, coming on strong here as of late. So, good season for Dylan. Next up, Mr. Cody Smiley, but we're using Chris Cantwell's picture in place of Cody Smiley. Mr. Smiley from Brighton, Michigan, fishing out of that Native Slayer. 7th place in AOY and 4 top 5 finishes for Mr. Smiley. Also, the 2020 Lake St. Clair winner. I'm pretty
This is all Chris's information.
It looks like a mix of Chris's and Cantwell's information there. So, graphics department, little boo-boo there. Pretty sure Cody's from Brighton. And
it's Gremlins. It's
a
okay.
little bit of Cantwell's information.
We'll just chalk it up to Gremlins. Don't worry about it. So we got Brian Anderson, hometown of Southgate, again fishing out of that another Native Titan. For his season, was 14th place in the Angler of the Year and 1 top 5 finish. And his career, he won that Michigan Big Brass Kayak League.
Mr. Anderson fishing out of that pretty native boat. So Brian's a heck of a guy. Next up, angler Cody Salzman, hometown of Clarkston, Michigan, fishing out of that Ascend 128. 11th in place in the AOY standings there. 3 top 5 finishes on the trail. And I didn't have a chance to link up with Cody and scope out those career highlights. I'm sure he has several. I know he spends a tremendous amount of time out on the water. Does a lot of boat tournaments as well. So I'm sure Cody has plenty of highlight career reels there. We just weren't able to link up and get those figured out before tonight's episode. So next up, there's Cody Smiley.
Hometown of Brighton, again fishing out of another Native Slayer. 7th place in the Angler of the Year, 4 top 5 finishes. 19 and 21, 2nd place in the Michigan Big Bass Kayak League Angler of the Year.
Yeah, runner-up three times there.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's consistent. Good job, Cody. All right, last but not least, fishing in tonight's Huron competition is Mr. Ryan Curtis from Grand Blanc, Michigan, fishing out of that Papaya Hobie Pro Angler. 5th place in AOY with 4 top 5 finishes. Also, the 2019 KBF Top 100 list, so that's an impressive stat there.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
You know, back in 2019, they had a massive amount of anglers. So to crack that top 100, that's impressive stat. So I'm excited for tonight's competition. You just met the anglers there that'll be competing tonight. Pretty diverse mix of guys, diverse mix of kayaks on a lake that produces lots of fish.
I'm ready to see lots of fish get caught, lots of fish get measured. Maybe we can find some bycatch, see if there's some toothy critters. Those are always fun to see that depressing look on your face when someone catches something that, I don't need this anymore.
Absolutely.
This is not going to help me.
Now, the AOY for that particular season out of the Huron division was Mr. Eric Polens, who pre-qualified for the World Series of Fishing semifinal, and also Mr. Brandon Tyke also qualified as the shootout winner for the Huron division. So both of those gentlemen, Mr. Polens and Mr. Tyke, already pre-qualified to compete in the World Series of Fishing East semifinals.
So they get to take the day off.
They get this Wolverine Lake break, which is probably a good thing. So 2 outstanding anglers already getting themselves pre-qualified. So we are ready for some lines in here.
Kick the tires and light the fires.
Sir. Mr. Anderson there getting himself out on the water. Doing a little backpedaling.
I did catch 20 in a quarter.
Weather-wise, couldn't ask for a better day here. It's nice, crisp and cool. Sun was out, as you can see. Bluebird skies.
What was that?
Plenty of water clarity here on this Wolverine Lake.
Sometimes that bluebird skies can come up and bite you.
Sure can. hopefully for these anglers, they go out and have a nice productive
Yeah, I'm
day.
in a month long one right
Now
now.
this
and I
lake,
forgot to submit
like
20
I mentioned,
quarter.
when you leave that launch, you can go left, go right, or go straight. And you've got these little channels that, not so little, pretty wide there, but you can kind of pick and choose what direction you want to go here, the way the lake shape is. And like I said, if you were to go right, you've got a long stretch of lake there on the right side. Kind of the same thing if you were to leave the launch and go straight out. You can get yourself into a couple little coves up there. And then on the left side, you can kind of split into a fork where you can get back into some little flats, some little grassy areas. So the lake itself offered some nice diversity as well for these anglers. Mr. Chris Culbertson there.
Lines in. Just under 3 hours to fish in this derby.
Ooh, maybe had a nibble there. Mr. Brian Anderson getting himself set up. Like Brian's fishing not too far off of that shoreline there, where if you were to leave that dock and go straight out, a couple little coves like I mentioned, he's going to be right at the mouth of those coves right here. Doesn't look like a whole lot of local traffic out on the water.
Definitely looks relatively quiet.
Mr. Salzman getting himself out in position. Tried to get a peek there at what Cody was slinging.
It looked
Saw something with a tail on it,
It
but I
looked to be
couldn't make
something
out what
skirted.
it was.
I was thinking maybe spinnerbait or chatterbait.
Always like fishing right on these corners like this, where they have the boat canopies, the little boat garages set up right on a corner like that. Those are always some of my favorite places to go target. Looks like a good spot that Cody's in right there with that little island point out there. A couple channels coming right around that bend where he's sitting there right in the middle of. Culbertson making a hard move here. Culbertson looking good there. Those solar bat sunglasses on, those F1 floating bats. Love those sunglasses.
They are a very comfortable pair of sunglasses. I own a pair. I know you own a pair of sunglasses.
Couple solar bats. I'm a big fan.
The floating ones are the only pair that I own, but they are very comfortable. I do enjoy wearing them.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of sunglasses, on a bright sunny day like it is here, right? Oh, Salzman, big bite there. Not sure what's going on here.
Looks like he broke off.
That's a bad start.
You can hear him talking to himself. Bad story. Yeah, it looks like maybe.
He broke off, went and snagged the line with that paddle.
I think so. But he did recover his lure, which is awesome.
That makes you feel
Bonus
less.
there.
That makes you feel less terrible.
Yeah, for sure.
Got a quick glimpse of what Mr. Anderson was throwing. Looked like a white chartreuse spinnerbait, maybe a gold willow blade.
Hear a little boat traffic back there behind Anderson and Culbertson. Thinking they're not too far away from each other right here to start out this session. But the water looks great. Let's look at Dylan.
He's throwing the old wacky rigged Senko.
A little bit of wind there. You can hear those lines whispering. I want to take a second here and let you guys know about the World Series of Fishing qualification process. 3 anglers per division. The Angler of the Year, as well as the Shootout Champion and the Divisional Qualifier winners, all here getting themselves qualified for this World Series of Fishing. I'm going to take a second here, come back to the studio as those anglers get out on the water, get themselves set. So right away, you can kind of tell water looks nice and calm.
Water looks
pretty clear.
Sun's out.
Yeah.
Looks to be, I'm going to guess that water temperature is
not
starting to come up a little
not
bit.
a whole lot of traffic. It looked like we did hear a little bit of boat traffic in the background there. Could have been a lawnmower too.
This might be our first episode where we see no snow.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed it is
Good
Michigan.
bet, no snow here.
It is Michigan, so
I
you never
remember
know.
we were all just rocking hoodies that day, so no snow, which is great. Little background on the World Series of Fishing rules here. This is a 3-hour time tournament, so again, 180 minutes to get out there and get it done. MFL rules, so go catch as many
as many
you
fish
can.
as possible. With our
Right?
normal weeknight derbies is going to be 5 longest fish. This is any fish over 8 inches, you're scoring it.
Yep.
So if you put 20 fish in the boat, all 20 fish are getting scored.
That's nice. So moving down that pretty much standard across most tournaments is that 12-inch scoreable mark.
Yeah.
But we adopted this for our league series with an 8-inch mark, with the goal being in mind. We have a lot of newcomers to the kayak fishing sport coming out and participating.
So you can
a lot
put something
of youth.
on the board.
It always makes you feel better about yourself when you go home with something on the scoreboard
Yeah.
instead of a goose egg. But like we talked about last week, I think scoring those smaller fish is way harder than scoring a bigger fish.
It is.
So,
But
but
a little
again,
more jumpy. They're hard to get to sit on the board. Like a bigger fish usually is like, I just gave up. I'm tired. I'm just going to lay here.
Right.
Let you take my picture. That little 8-inch guy, he's like, nah, man, I'm getting out of here.
absolutely.
Like, I'm going back home.
I like this rule adoption. Going back a couple years ago, we experimented with it where we had just the Tri-Cities division out of the 4 divisions using the 8-inch rule. And everybody liked it. We saw more fish being scored, so we adopted it and put it in place from then on. And it's worked out really well. We're seeing a lot more people scoring fish that maybe they wouldn't have had that opportunity to. And a lot of these tournaments are decided by that 8 inches or less
could
mark.
make a big
So
deal, and then even closer, it could be like a couple inches here or there.
it really does make a big difference at the end of that tournament. One little 8-inch fish could mean the difference between first place and not taking home the page.
Yeah, and no checks.
Yeah. So we get back ready to go back to fishing here. I think we're going to take a little bit of a break
Yep.
and
We have a commercial coming up.
get a nice preview of our friends over at Old Town, see what they have in store. All right, here we get back to that action. Dylan Heinrich, long cast there. I've seen that Old Town commercial that we just aired a handful of times.
Just a
and
handful?
I always enjoy it every time I see it. I'm not gonna lie. And Dylan's on, fish on. First fish of the day. We'll get back to Old Town here in just a second. right. Fish one of the day in the net, Dylan Heinrich.
That's just half the battle.
That's step one.
This is just step one.
Just get it in the net. Now, rule-wise, these anglers, they've got to get that fish out of the net, remove that tackle and line before they can put it on the bump board to take that photo submission. We want to see all tackle, any type of restraint device, which we consider a tackle and line to be a restraining device for that fish. Dylan's fish there, as you can see, a 15 3/4 inch. So nice start for Dylan Heinrich getting started. First fish on the scoreboard.
First fish on the scoreboard, so he has the lead now.
Oh, Cody's on. Notice Cody's got that drag bucket there in the water too. He's sitting right on that corner there. You can hear the wind moving, so if you're in a paddle-only kayak, that drag bucket can help you out tremendously and save you a ton of time keeping you in that spot. You don't see too many anglers out there with the drag bucket. I know drag nets
Nope.
are available, but
I used to paddle all the time. That's something I never did. I would just fight the wind.
wait to see what Mr. Cody Salzman's catch confirmation is there on that fish. His first fish of the day. There you go, 14 inches. Puts him up in second place behind Dylan's 15 3/4. Back over to Anderson on his native. I like the collar of those natives. I know Brian's got one there. Pat and Geis has got the same collar boat. I like the collar of those natives.
That like neon green and black color.
I like how much room they have in that back end too. There's so much room back there.
Definitely so much room for activities and extra crap.
So much
room for activities.
Cody getting himself back in position. Like Dylan's confirming that that score went through before he gets back to work. Oh, boom.
Hooked up again.
Fish number 2 from about the same spot right there in front of that pontoon garage there. It's a good look. Get that tackle out real quick, grab that phone, pull up the app, get yourself set for new submission. Oh, that, man, that'll make your heart skip every single time.
This is when I take a little more time. So I have a net, so I'll put my fish, unhook my fish, put them in the net, let them hang out. And I always get my board wet. I've noticed if you get your board wet, the fish calms down a little bit more.
Totally. And it makes sense. You can see, most of these boards, even a plastic board, and the
it gets
the
a little
standard
hot, and
catch,
the fish don't like it.
Exactly. I mean, a bluebird day like this, that sun's out, even though the temps still may be a little chilly and the wind's blowing, but that sun shining on your bump board all morning long, that's going to heat that surface up into. I mean, it's just like taking a fish out and putting it on a frying pan when it gets warm like that. So, always a good idea to cool that board off. Just dunk it in the water real quick. Here we'll take our first look at the leaderboard with Salzman. Fish number 2 bumps him up in first place with 27.5. Heinrich right behind him, 15 3/4. Culbertson, Smiley, Curtis, Cantwell, and Anderson still out on the hunt for their first fish.
Fish number 1.
But yeah, always a good idea to cool off that catch board before you're putting that fish on there. Seems to calm them down just enough. Something new this week that we've added to the broadcast. Everybody up in that top right-hand corner can see that countdown clock clicking away up there. And we put that graphic up in the top right corner just to let you, the viewers, know how much time is remaining in the fishing session for this qualifier. For us, we're trying to condense this down to bring you as much action as possible. So we thought that'd be a little helpful tip for you guys up there, just to know how much time is remaining in this qualification session. Helps us keep moving things along at a little bit quicker pace. Dylan's
Still working that
working
jerk
it.
bait. Like he hooked up. Nope. I was wrong.
Like Dylan's got a little jerk bait on there. Back over to Culbertson. Something that's pretty noticeable with these backside overhead views like this, when you get a peek down inside the hull of these kayaks, looking at the different brands of kayaks and how much room you have in that hull. And there you can see Culbertson, he's got quite a bit of space to maneuver up there in between the seat and the pedals, whereas Dylan and Cody are pretty compact in their setups. Always something to consider when you're out looking for your next boat.
When you're looking for your next boat,
There you go.
Try to get in as many boats as possible.
The llama is hooked up. I think this was pre-llama days, maybe. Back before the llama came out.
I think Chris will tell you the llama.
The llama was
they're always inside.
always
of him.
there.
It's always been there.
Chris rocking that aluminum Catch X there. Love that blue collared board. Oh man. It's not even my fish and it's still scary every time I see it.
Everyone has their own way of measuring a fish.
There you go. Culbertson on the board with his first fish of the day. 12.5 inches there confirmed.
There you go.
There you go.
Wave to the camera.
Looks like Jones hooked up. The old jerk bait finally paid off.
Go. Heinrich jumping back up into that lead, taking an 1.25 inch lead over Cody Salzman in second place. Culbertson on the board now with 12 1/4. Rest of our anglers still out in the hunt.
Fish are getting caught.
There you go. 13-inch confirmed for Dylan there. So we're going to start to see a little bottleneck up at the top of that leaderboard here shortly if these anglers keep at it the way they are.
Let's just hope we see more fish get caught.
Again, we're just into about 20 minutes or so
20
here
minutes
into this session, and we're already seeing fish on the scoreboard here. 5 of them now in the first 20 minutes from these 3 anglers. So again, back to Wolverine Lake. It's one of those lakes that there's a lot of fish in there. We saw a couple big ones from past experience at past league nights, so we know they're in there.
So the big ones are in there. It's like, can someone find them?
But it's a great place for one of these tournaments to go out where the field should limit.
Yeah, just go out there and just wear them out.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's enough space in this lake for everybody to spread out. You know, it's really a nice setting for a tournament event. So can't say enough. I love the area too. When you pull into this particular lake here, you have to pull past the police station. Like the police station sits literally right in front of the boat launch, and you'll pull back there. There's always DNR officers hanging out there. And every time we've been there, we've seen 2 or 3 officers that'll walk down because they want to check out all of these kayaks. Like, what are you guys doing out here? What are these? So we'll spend a lot of time, and it's happened every time I've been there, where they'll come out and they're not coming to pick on you and you know, in a negative way.
Nope,
they're genuinely interested in what's going on. These are awesome, you know. And it was the year before last. One of them, a couple DNR officers were there at the ramp. They actually took out my autopilot and gave it a test spin because they haven't never seen a remote control kayak before. So yeah, it's always a good time down there. Great area, great place to go fish. Just good people. Take another peek at this leaderboard before we head back to the fish action. Heinrich in first place with his 2 fish, 28 3/4. Salzman at 27 1/2. Culbertson there at 12 1/2. Things are picking up though.
Let's get back to the fishing.
We are back with Mr. Salzman. Wind definitely picking up, you can see there. Even with his float bucket there, his parachute underwater, still dragging him down that canal there. I think Culbertson's fishing a little bit more out in the middle here. Hooked up. A nice looking fish there.
Okay. Now we're putting something together.
What would you say is the average amount of time from the time you get the fish up to the boat, to get it in the boat, detackled, get your phone out, open up the app, new submission so that you're ready to go, fish on the board, mouth closed, take that picture and submit? How much time do you think on average that takes you?
To submit, probably a minute and a half.
I was gonna say about 2 minutes. I
Probably
think
a minute and a half, but I'll take multiple pictures, and then after I'm done taking my pictures, I'll set my fish back the net, look at my pictures, make sure they're
Double
good.
check.
Like, make sure I got the absolute best picture possible. And if I have to put it back on the board, then I'll stick them back on the board.
That's a really good tip for the novice tournament anglers that are coming out and they're not used to CPR style where they're submitting via an app. Don't just take one photo. Take lots of photos.
I'm terrible at that. I just take multiple photos and I never delete my pictures. So there's probably the same fish. There's probably 10 photos of the fish, just like angled a different way. I got hands on them. I don't have hands on them.
Yep.
I angled the
That's the way
tail a
to do
little
it.
bit. Just try to.
Culbertson's second fish there on the leaderboard, a 13-incher confirmed. So moving him up closer, still in that third position behind Salzman and Heinrich. All of them now up there in the mid to upper 20s. But we're just getting started here, folks. You can see the countdown of the 3-hour elapsed time for this fishing session. These guys are just 32 and some change into the tournament. Lots of time, lots of fish yet to be caught. It's like Dylan was switching things up there again. I think that's third or fourth lure we've seen him attached to.
Something's not working. Just keep throwing different things at them. Hopefully you can figure it out.
Absolutely. Got to find what works. Good look at Cody Smiley there. Now Cody's on. We talked about this last week's broadcast of how guys will position their nets once they have that fish. Some off to the side, some under their seats. Some people even mount PVC pipe or tubes underneath their seats so the handle of that net will slide right in. Some good little tips and tricks there. That way you can let that bass calm down in the water safely next to the kayak before you put it on the bump board. Gives you an extra second to go ahead and get that phone out and get the app open before you're ready to lay the fish on your bump board. Usually just giving them that extra couple seconds to chill out and calm down helps tremendously from that board flop. We'll see what Cody confirmed there. 12 3/4. Cody Smiley getting on the board. Salzman working it here. Cody's a big St. Croix fan, so imagine that's what he's got in his hand right there. Looked like a Mojo bass rod there. Doing a little back paddling here.
Like, since you fish this lake more often, in these conditions, what are you going to throw? Like, I'm seeing a lot of different things. It looks like I've been seeing some guys throwing jigs, some guys throwing wacky worms.
I have fished this a couple times. Gosh, I think I've fished it twice, 3 times now. And my best day out there, I was actually with Dylan right here in the camera and with Ryan Curtis, who's also in this competition. And we found ourselves in one of the back little channel coves, I'll call it. It's more like a channel, but Heinrich is hooked up again there. But the 3 of us went back in on a tournament night, and we just kind of fished in a clockwise motion around each other and kept rotating. But just the 3 of us back in that area. And the whole time I was back there, I was throwing a jig, throwing it up close to those docks and pulling it down off that. If you're right up against the shoreline there on these seawalls, nice little sandy area with a nice gradual drop off back there. And it was a crystal clear day, just like it was today. You could see everything. So I was doing a lot of sight fishing with some jigs and just kind of throwing them up in there, letting the fish come to it. Swim baits work great here. Obviously, any type of finesse, you can throw a net or a wacky rig. You saw Dylan starting out this session with a wacky on there. It's like Cody maybe throwing a little swim there. But I know some other guys that have had success out here. Spinners, especially on the north end of this lake. You got water moving through there, and the spinners seem to work really well for them up there. That particular night, with Curtis, Dylan, and myself operating in that clockwise circle, I think we finished 1, 2, 3 that night, and we just kind of locked down that area. And There you go. Heinrich's
That
fish, 15 and a quarter. Nice upgrade for him there. There you go. Taking a nice lead now. 44 even for Heinrich. Salzman second, 27 and a half. Culbertson, his 2 fish, 25 and a half. And Cody Smiley on the board there. So get back to Mr. Brian Anderson making a hard move here.
Hopefully Brian can find his first fish, get on the board.
That little cut that I was just talking about where the 3 of us were fishing was right there in front of Brian. Just to his left when he gets around this corner. That's why I like this lake here. There's plenty of room to move around in. Lots of little bends and elbows to the lake that you see a lot of these guys setting up right on these points, right where they fork. Nice fish there. That particular event, Dylan won our tournament last time we were there at Wolverine. It came on super strong the end of that year. Same thing for this past year as well. Won a couple tournaments there towards the end of the season. There's a first look at Mr. Chris Cantwell. It has always been one of my favorite colored kayaks right there. That orange and blue. I love it.
That Detroit Tigers motif theme.
Yeah, I've always complimented him on that color kayak. I just, you never see it. And every time I do see his kayak showing up, I love that color scheme. Like, you can notice everybody's hair there. Oh, Mr. Culbertson's on. You can tell this was filmed in a COVID time where haircuts were not a thing. Some of these guys don't look like they normally do. Everybody was just relaxing and fishing. Funny story, and I'll tell it here quick, is we were fishing on this lake one time, and over on the bank there were 3 high schoolish boys just hanging out on the dock there at their house, and they had some poles set up and some rod holders on the bank, and all 3 of them had cast out, and then they walked away. They came back a little while later, and my son Hunter and I were fishing right out in front of them where they were casting, and we were in our kayaks, and finally you see the pole bend over. The kid comes running out from the porch, grabs that pole, and he's hooked on, and the pole's bent right over. It's a big fish, whatever it is. And so naturally, I'm in a tournament, so I'm watching this. I'm creeping closer to see what he's got, what he was throwing, that kind of stuff. And I watched this kid, maybe 17, 18-year-olds, fight this fish for what seemed like forever. And I'm sure it was just a minute or two, but it seemed like 5-10 minutes, right? Finally, now I'm invested in it. I've stopped fishing. I've moved my kayak right over to the bank, and I'm just watching him. So he's got the pole in his hand. He's got a buddy that has a net in his hand who's jumped in the water now, and he's got another buddy who's got the camera phone out videoing this. Mom and dad come out of the house. A neighbor comes over. You know, now we've got a crowd gathering. This kid's just fighting this fish, and I'm like, what could this be? You know, I'm thinking big catfish or something. So finally, curiosity, I yell up at him, "Hey, what do you have on there?" And he's like, "It's a smallmouth. It's the biggest smallmouth I've ever seen." And I'm like, holy crap, now I'm really invested in this, man, because he's fighting it. So finally, I've totally put my poles down. I'm watching it.
You've given up.
I watched his buddy scoop this fish up in the net, and his buddy is having a hard time lifting the net out of the water, right? So I'm like, this has got to be a new state record smallmouth. Like, I can't believe what I'm watching right here in front of me. And he finally gets it up into the air, and I could tell the collaring didn't quite look right. His dad comes down and picks up the net, holds up the fish. It was a giant carp. He had caught a giant carp that he was calling it a new, personal best smallmouth. And I think all in all, the experience took like 15 minutes for this to play out. He had neighbors over. I mean, everybody came out to watch this kid land this fish. And it was just one of the funnest experiences. I had wasted so much time sitting here watching
to watch him catch a carp.
Oh, man. So a little bit of a break here. Let these anglers spread out more on the water there at Wolverine Lake in this Huron division. Cool, thing about going out and targeting bass species is all the extracurricular fish that you get to catch during this, like the kid catching a carp as we're, watching or participating in a bass tournament. I know why these anglers were out here. A couple guys caught some nice extracurricular fish out on this lake. And one of them was pretty decent walleye. Yeah. Bonus fish. I call them extracurricular fish. You go out, it's all fishing, and you're targeting that one species. And when you hook onto a big old pike or a big walleye, something like that, it can be frustrating when you're in a time tournament. But
when you're in a tournament, but any other time,
right?
You're just like, I'm catching fish. I really don't care.
Absolutely. I think when we cut back here, we've got some of that extracurricular footage. Heinrich hooked up here. Walleye, he says.
Huh. Nice walleye.
That does look like a nice walleye there.
Walleye. That's a walleye. That big one. I'm putting him on the board for you guys.
Nice keeper walleye there.
This is when you start thinking about it. I was like, man, do I want to keep this thing?
Yeah, that's dinner.
Shout out, Bob.
All right, so extracurricular fish we call it, or bonus fish. Nice big walleye Dylan Heinrich caught there. Not what you want to see in a bass tournament, but hey man,
fishing in general, it's fine. And that's when you question like, do I want to bring this guy home? Like I would really think about it. I was like, man, do I just like end this guy right now, toss him in the back of the boat, be like, we're having fish fry tonight, boys.
Absolutely, that'll make a couple good sandwiches there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, so we just wanted to show that clip there. It's always fun fishing, whether you're catching your target species or one of those extracurriculars. So before we get back to fishing here, we're going to take another quick commercial break here, showcase some more of the World Series of Fishing sponsors here.
We are Yak Attack, a leader in watercraft accessories and mounting systems made in small town America with a built-for-life guarantee. From rod holders to fish finder mounts, to cleats, tie downs, and more, Yak Attack products attach quickly and easily to your boat or kayak, including virtually all built-in track systems. For more information or to find a dealer near you, visit us at yakattack.com.
And we take another look at that leaderboard before we head back to action there. Dylan Heinrich still up in that first place spot with his 3 submissions, leading with 44 total inches right now. Down to 4th place, Cody Smiley, 12 3/4. Still more to come. Anglers Curtis, Anderson, Cantwell still out on the hunt.
About 2 hours left in this little derby.
Keep talking about this Wolverine Lake and why it's such a special lake here. The lake itself, it's hard to describe it other than a large T-shaped lake. It was actually formed by 6 smaller lakes all being dammed together to create Wolverine Lake. And so that's where you're going to get those different species of fish all combined into one body of water when you do something like that. You take 6 smaller lakes and dam them all up to create one big body of water.
like we got Mr. Anderson's hooked up.
Anderson, first fish. Fish on my spinner. We're talking about how these 6 lakes were formed, dammed up to make this lake here. Not a huge lake, but only about 265 acres combined makes up this lake, but offers a nice variety of species, if you guys have seen.
Anderson's fish confirmed, 13 inches.
13 inches on the board. It's going to move him up to 4th place. Heinrich hooked up again.
Hooked up with some weeds.
Oh,
Oh,
heartbreaker.
a little weed bass.
Old weeds. Click down. First hour of this 3-hour fishing session is up. Anglers have an hour and 58 minutes left.
This little lull, I want to give a shout out to another one of our sponsors, Chris, Lines to In Fabworks trailers. Like,
Love those trailers. They are so beautiful.
probably make some of the best trailers around. Like, anytime someone's out here looking for trailers, I'll tend to send them Chris's way. I actually contacted Chris, got something in the works with him, but it might not exactly be a trailer.
Ooh. Surprises.
Yeah, I'm not a trailer guy. It's just like the way I fish and the places I go, like it's just not, it won't work
Not
in my
practical
setup.
for you.
But still get him in business, still gonna make something that's gonna look pretty cool, and you guys should see that on our Topwater Content Creators channel.
Absolutely. Culbertson pulling in his 3rd fish. We'll take a peek at Ryan Curtis here. Mr. Calm, cool, and collected at all times here. Heck of an angler. Curtis has been fishing for a long time. Speaking of lines in Fabworks trailer, I believe Mr. Curtis posted, I'm not sure if he has sold his or not, but he posted up a beautiful LIF trailer for sale here recently on the social pages. Cool that Chris has ventured out and done is actually has his trailers stocked at retail locations now, like Water Dog Outfitters. So if you're in the market for a trailer and you want it ASAP, you can stop by a retail outlet like Water Dog Outfitters and just pick one
Pick one
off
up and take
showroom
it home.
floor, and boom, you're in business. Might as well grab you a kayak to put on it while you're there.
Get yourself an Old Town, or now you can get yourself a Hobie. We're gonna have all the brands.
Good for Chris. Culbertson's 3rd fish confirmed there, puts him up at 40 inches. So we've got 2 anglers above that 40-inch mark and a handful hot on the trail. There's Mr. Curtis with his first of the day. Let's see what that confirmed catch is in just a second. It's Mr. Ryan Curtis on the scoreboard. As I was saying there, as we cut to Curtis, Chris Blair, can't thank him enough for what he has brought to the kayaking community. With him being right here in Michigan, right in our backyard, all of these trailers handmade from scratch, right in his shop, built in the USA using USA parts.
Call it up, you can get one, like you said, you can get one off the shelf, or you can get one custom made to your specifications.
Absolutely.
I've just seen Chris just put in, like, do anything. There's that, I've seen one, it's got two big boxes on the side of it, place to put your kayak. You can drive your quad up on it too, so it's like a dual purpose trailer. It's a really cool one.
I love it. If you go to the Lines and Fabric website, he has 3 options available that you can check out, and maybe that's the right fit for you. But if it's not, shoot him a message. The dude's an artist and a very skilled craftsman. He can make whatever you're looking for. So if one of those 3 options or one of his trailers at the retail locations like Water Dog isn't the right fit for you, shoot him a message. He'd be happy to help out, work with you. And like I said, master fabricator, can build whatever you're looking for to fit your kayaking needs, or ATVs, or whatever else you want. If it's metal and it can be cut and welded, he's your guy. There you go. We just saw Cody Salzman hooked back in. Nice 16 1/4 inch there. Leaderboard starting to catch fire here all of a sudden. 6 of those 7 anglers on the board now. 3 of them above that 40-inch mark. Cody hot on Dylan's trail now, down by just 1/4 inch. We talked about that minimum scoreable bass only being 8 inches. Just takes one 8-inch fish or better here, and from third place to first place real quick and in a hurry with just an 8-inch fish. What makes these events exciting. They can change the leaderboard fairly quickly. Just over an hour into this, 6 of the 7 competitors on the scoreboard. Nice overhead view of Culbertson here. Just slow pedaling. Curtis with a fist bump and a net in his lap. That can only mean good things.
So
One in the boat there, it looks like. That's a good looking fish. Nice fish, Mr. Curtis. You can see him. He's got his red catch board down in there. We've seen a variety of catch boards in this segment alone. We've seen the red, the blue Catch X.
Saw an orange one.
Yeah, we've seen a carbonate. So
I saw not a catch board.
15-incher there for Curtis. Gonna move him up. I like looking at all these catch boards, and just a reminder, starting this year, new for 2022, all Topwater events are catch-only events. So if you don't have a catch board yet and you're looking to come out and compete, you got to get a new catch board in your hands. Can't go wrong with those carbonates, super inexpensive. But then you get into customization options. You can pick multiple colors, pick the old school boards with the cradle. You got the Catch X aluminum boards and 3 or 4 different colors now.
Or you just get them all.
Or like some of us.
Yeah.
We
I
we tend to stock up on different colored catch
I have
boards.
a few.
It's a new addiction. Just reminders, we begin that springtime prep. Go out, get yourself a catch board. Local retailers offering those on the shelf now Contact Catch Products Incorporated directly. You can go right on the website, shop. Once you buy it, it'll probably be at your house within a day, 2 days. Shipping turnaround from Catch Products Incorporated is super quick.
All right, well, just caught my first one of the day. We'll see what it measures up.
Good job, Mr. Cantwell. First fish of the day. Looks like Chris doing that technique where he de-tackled his bass. He's got it chilling out in the net right there while he gets his board ready, gets his app ready, giving that fish just a couple seconds to chill out in the cool water. So he pulls it out, puts it on his board. Such a helpful tip there. Calm that fish right down. Sometimes.
Sometimes they
Looks
just
like he was
don't.
maybe struggling.
They
with
don't
a
want to
little
be
bit there.
calm.
They didn't want to sit still on him.
All right, so first one of the day is a 16-incher.
16
See if we can get a few more of these.
Good fish, Chris. Chris rocking that Mustang Survival auto inflatable there. What's your go-to PFD?
I don't hate about PFDs, so I have a little bit of everything.
Right on.
I have an Astral, I have an NRS inflatable, I have a Mustang semi-inflatable, which is slowly becoming my new favorite because it's still thin, but I like to have some buoyancy. I fish a lot of cold water and I fish a lot by myself, so I don't like to trust just an
Giant.
inflatable.
Just the auto inflatable.
Absolute giant. Please mark this spot. Mark waypoint.
Curtis.
Oh my god. It was literally, this is 3 casts in a row. And this thing is a giant.
That's a good looking fish.
Absolute
He's pretty amped up. I'm excited to see what this comes out to on the
giant.
scoreboard. As we head into our next break here and come back to the studio, any fish that are caught and confirmed while we're back here at the studio, we'll go ahead and post that graphic up on the studio site here so you can see those confirmed fish catches as we head into a break here. Curtis, boom, jumping right up the leaderboard, taking first place now with his 3 fish, 46 1/4. Heinrich right behind him, 44. Salzman 43 3/4. Culbertson with 40 even. Cantwell, Anderson, Smiley all on the board. So
Everyone's caught a fish.
everybody has submitted. Everybody's on the leaderboard. And it's starting to stack up. Again, we keep talking about that 8-inch minimum rule there. From first to fourth, one 8-inch fish is
One
going to bump
8-inch
that
fish is
fourth
going
place right into
to
the
make
lead.
a big
So,
change.
man, it looks like these guys are on it. Sun has come up a little bit more. Fish are out biting right now. Curtis with 3, you heard him, 3 straight casts, 3 fish in the boat.
Fish. That's just a great feeling when you start figuring out a pattern. Just like, oh, this is gonna.
You heard him mark that spot.
This might be a day.
To remind himself, I better mark this spot.
gotta
Three
come back
casts,
here.
3 fish. That's outstanding work there. Cantwell on the board, nice 16-inch fish. Good for him. Seeing Smiley out there. There you go. Curtis with another fish confirmed while we're here at the break with 13 1/2. That's just going to pad to his first place
Jesus.
current lead. So 4 cast, 4 fish to put him up into first place all of a sudden. So he's definitely found the spot. There you go. You saw that lead increase up to 59 3/4 inches. Going to take a good fish or a couple here for the rest of this group to get right back into it. Still plenty of fishing time
Still plenty
left.
of time to catch fish.
I mean, we're still talking about over an hour and a half, so more than half of the tournament time still out here for these anglers, and we got plenty of more fish to come. So things are going to stay on fire as we continue and head back to fishing here in just a couple seconds. So a couple things we noticed: wind still picking up a
Wind
little
still
bit.
whipping. You can hear that. You can hear that wind cutting over those lines.
You can see
over
these
those
anglers
rods.
making moves now. We saw Brian cutting across the water, Dylan moving, Cody moving. So, and obviously Ryan Curtis has found himself in a good position here as we hit the halfway mark of the fishing session. So, sun's out. Clouds are non-existent. Nice bluebird day here. Peek over there at Cody Smiley, hugging that shoreline there. Cody, heck of an angler. You mentioned runner-up in the Big Bass Kayak League 3 consecutive years. He's always up in that mix. Good finishes at lots of league events. Like Cody's maybe moved into some calmer waters here. Cody Salzman, that is. Got a couple Codys in the competition today. Boom.
Hooked up again.
Chatterbait.
Throwing old trusty.
Can't go wrong with chatterbait. Nice clear water out here on this lake. It'll make some noise, make some vibration. Fish are gonna see it, no problem. Looks like he definitely wanted it. He swallowed it.
By losing fish, and
Got to do some
I
micro
don't usually
surgery here.
lose fish, so that one, the last one, it's not in my head, but it doesn't feel good either.
$15.25 confirmed for Salzman. Check back over to Brian Anderson. Anglers have just reached the halfway point of this competition. Again, these are 3-hour fishing sessions. The goal to submit as many bass as you can in those 3 hours.
Back on Chris, looked like he's still fishing that deep water.
Yeah, this particular lake, it's predominantly around, he's hooked up now. Predominantly around that 5 to 6 foot average across the lake. There are a couple spots that it gets down to about 60 feet. We're for the most part fairly shallow, 265 acre lake.
Let's go.
Culbertson's got one in the boat. Heinrich is hooked up. Culbertson 14.5. He's adding to his total. Heinrich about to add to his. Cody Smiley out there working it. 14.75 confirmed for Heinrich. Be interesting peek at the leaderboard next time we look at it. The action keeps up like this. These guys are just going to keep leapfrogging.
Bouncing spots.
There you go. Salzman bumps up into second place. Only 3/4 of an inch shy from Curtis's first place mark, and Heinrich, man, only a 1/4 inch. Culbertson there, just over 5 inches off the front runner pace. Starting to stack up there. his second fish. Heading down towards the old wooden bridge overpass. The places I haven't had a chance to go fish while out on this lake is
That wooden bridge.
yeah, once you get underneath that bridge, it takes you back into just a little cove, not a big area back there. Lots of swans like to hang out back in that area back there, and I haven't really had a chance to fish it. I know it's not too deep back there, more of a shallow little cove area, but anytime there's a big overpass like that with lots of post in the water, I always
like to fish it.
throw something right at it.
But I also like to stay away from swans because those things are mean.
Yeah, I don't want any part of those guys. I remember when we were out there filming this, Hunter was operating one of the cameras, and he saw a kayak go back into that particular little cove we were just talking about. So we took a camera boat, made a move to go back there because we thought it was one of our guys, and we had all the cameras out ready to go, and it was just a local out for his normal just kayaking stroll, and Hunter was pretty adamant it was one of our guys back there.
Sorry, I made a mistake.
Anderson still out there looking for his number 2. Thought that was a fish under the water right out in front of him.
I didn't know
when
what
we
that
went over
was.
there.
I was
I
like,
couldn't tell if
what
that
is
was a
that?
log or a big old fish swimming by on his right side there, right when we introduced that clip. Definitely a big black shadow under the water going by him. Maybe it was the one he just released. Pretty shallow back there where he's at right now, it looks like. Gotta get him a Sandal Gang sticker going on the side of that kayak.
Doesn't even have sandals on. Chris is going barefoot.
Is he straight barefoot?
He's straight barefoot.
Iron Man, that Culbertson. No shoes, no worries.
I'm so ready to not have to wear boots
Oh man.
and 4 layers of clothing.
Watching this weather system move in tonight, turn to more slush and snow for tomorrow and Friday. Ugh, I'm so over it. Alright, we'll take a little break from fishing there. And again, if anybody catches and confirms while we're here back at the studio, we'll put those graphics up on the screen so you can follow along with those catches. But so far, things are heating up. They're just over...
We're seeing a lot of fish get caught.
Yeah, especially about that midway range. Things are definitely heated up for these guys, and we're seeing a big variety of lures and baits being used out there. We've seen crankbait, we saw a chatterbait, we saw a jerkbait, spinnerbait, we saw a swim bait, wacky rig, we saw a Ned rig getting thrown out there. So these guys are throwing a little bit of everything out there, and it seems like everything's starting to work.
Any way you like to catch fish today, it looks like you're going to catch something. You're going to catch some fish.
We've got another leaderboard change there as Dylan Heinrich jumps up into that number 1 spot with his fifth fish, putting him over the 70-inch mark.
And this is our first limit of the season.
Of any of the qualifiers.
Of any of the events. No one has caught 5 fish yet.
First 5 fish bag.
So that's exciting.
And we've got 3 more anglers here with 4 on the scoreboard right behind him. So could be a big day for the Huron division over on Wolverine Lake. So things are heating up. We saw a lot of things thrown Guys are kind of spread out all over. I know it's harder for you not ever have
No,
been to
not
this lake,
not
but
being
for
this
me,
lake.
I
Like I was like, I don't know where
visualize
they're at.
these
I'm just
guys
like,
are
oh,
at.
these guys are in some water. That looks sweet.
They're all pretty spaced out across Wolverine Lake at this point. We've got guys on the south side, on the north side, and back into all these little cuts and channels here, kind of out in the middle. So they've spaced themselves out. Sun's out. Seems like pretty much
Water
anything they're
temperature's
throwing's-
starting to rising, so fish are starting to
Yeah.
get more active. And
Oh, we've got another confirmed catch here. Curtis, 14 and a half. That's going to be close to, yeah, that should put him back up into first place
yeah,
when we
he
come
should
back out of the break.
overtake the lead with that one.
Oh, Culbertson, 9.5 on the board. So, yeah, especially these top four guys here, they have definitely found some spots to end this session here. So, hopefully that scoreboard and that leaderboard just keeps switching spots.
Everyone
jumping.
keeps jumping up, changing spots. This is exciting. This
It's
is what we
exciting,
wanted
right?
to see.
It's exciting. So there you go. Curtis does it, jumps back up. Culbertson makes a push, gets him up into third spot. Just like that, 3 anglers with limits, 2 of them above the 70-inch mark. Culbertson not too far off. His next scoreable fish will put him up above 70. So, yeah, log jam up at the top as we head down the stretch.
Fish are getting caught.
Pretty exciting here. See who's going to pull this out. I think right after we come back from this studio segment, we'll do a little replay here of that last Culbertson submission here. There you go. Get a look at that 9.5. Just a 9.5.
He's just a little guy.
There may or may not have been some smack talk from the camera boat about this point. As soon as he submits it. Take another glance at this leaderboard here. Curtis is 74.25 with Heinrich 70.25. 4 inches off the pace there. Culbertson in that third spot at 64. Again, all 7 competitors here on the scoreboard.
Still anyone's game.
Still lots of time left. Yes, sir. So plenty of time for these guys to make a move. Like we just said in the last break, these guys have spread themselves out across the lake here. Everybody's kind of settled in
their
nice
own
little
groove.
spot.
Notice like everyone has their own fish measuring technique. Like that's something you don't like. That's the fun thing about watching these is how I do something is not how someone else does something. So everyone's got their own little technique of how they're gonna get these fish on this board, snap that picture, and just go through their process. So that's kind of interesting for me to watch.
It's very interesting. That's why I was asking you about like your average time from getting it to the boat to submission, because some of these anglers are super frantic, got to get it on the board and get it scored immediately. Some people are a little more chill, let it chill out, get my board wet and cooled off, slow roll it. But it's interesting to see everybody's process, and you can kind of take your own takeaways from everybody else's process and make it your own.
See what you can change or what you can make your own, or just like, mine way works
brush
better.
up your
I'm gonna
skill
keep
set
doing
at
it.
submissions. So, well, all right, folks, we're going to take a little break here. We will be right back right after this next commercial break, and we'll check back in with that leaderboard. And there you go. Thank you, our partners over at Old Town with that new Sportsman line. We check back on the World Series Fishing leaderboard. Curtis up there in that front spot, 74.25. As we head back to fishing here, just over an hour left. Take a nice far view there of Mr. Mr. Cantwell. Love seeing that flag flying off the back of that kayak. Fishing up against that seawall, hitting these docks. Always a good idea, especially on these points right there. We talked about that a little bit ago. Love fishing off those points. Speaking of swans, there's one sneaking up behind Mr. Anderson there.
Nah, man, I got my head on a swivel. Those things
Don't
are
drift too far back.
I've been attacked by a swan or two before. I just
Damn.
don't need to deal with it.
Like some nice cattail reed area right out there in front of Cantwell. He's working his way towards another one of these little cuts here off this lake. Curtis still kind of hanging out in that same little area, and why would you leave? You know, 4 straight casts, 4 fish in the boat, currently sitting right up there at the top. No reason to leave that area. That's the Topwater chopper, getting that overhead view for you guys there. We'll bring that footage later. Just kidding. Can't imagine having a helicopter.
Could you imagine the fuel on that thing?
Oh man, that'd be fun though, wouldn't it? Holy smokes. Bird's eye view. Curtis is fishing out towards the middle of that cut there. A lot of these anglers are maybe sitting more towards the middle. We saw Cantwell fishing closer to the break wall there. I feel like a lot of these guys have found their way out to the deeper parts of the water here in the middle of these channels. You know, I bet Chris Blair at Lines In Fab Work could probably fab us up a chopper.
A chopper, or maybe a glider.
Glider.
A glider or a chopper.
Cool.
Either of those would work.
I think I'm too heavy for a glider.
Oh.
I need something with a motor on it. I need that extra support, man. But I bet he could fab us up a chopper. Curtis, hooked up again. Sitting out in the middle. In the net. Power loaded that. Smooth right there. Back over to Brian Anderson here. Curtis gets his fish detackled and ready to submit. Gonna pad his lead on the leaderboard. There you go, 14 3/4 for Mr. Brian Curtis, adding to his lead right now with just over an hour, just under an hour. Go 89 inches even, 6 submissions. Looking to break that century mark for Mr. Curtis here shortly. Cantwell, some slow fishing there. Back over to Culbertson. I don't feel like Chris has moved around all that much here in this session. I keep seeing the same houses back there in the background.
Looks like he found
shots. I think
he found something he likes.
Yeah.
Probably marking fish. He's like, I'm just going to try to catch
Just hanging out.
all that I can.
Hard to leave. You see fish on your graph, and he's obviously submitted to the leaderboard several times. Hard to leave a spot that you're catching fish. In these tournaments, that's one of the things you got to figure out before you get there. You don't have the luxury of going on an exploration mission when you're out here during tournament time. You're on short time from the moment it starts, so you don't have a lot of time to go figure things out and explore. You got to go find something that works and get it. Dylan Heinrich
hooked up.
hooked up here. All right. It's going to shake things up once again up at the top of that leaderboard. Somebody's going to break a century mark here pretty quick. Cut back over to Anderson here. As Dylan confirms his 14 3/4. Curtis still atop on the board with 89 inches, his 6 fish. Heinrich right behind him, 85 even. Take you back over here to Chris Cantwell, fishing out of that native. Over in the stumps and the reeds. Back over to Curtis, working in the middle of a channel here. Live in the background up there on Locals Bank.
Something blue camouflage.
The ghost, the sea ghost. Peek back in here with Cody Salzman. Guys move too fast. I can't see what they've got rigged up.
Looked like a white jig.
That would have been my guess.
A white swim jig.
Always geek out on the different equipment and gadgets and stuff like that. A really smart guy put up a daily update the other day talking about different nets. What's your go-to net preference?
I use the Yakutek leverage landing net.
Can't go wrong with the Yakutek leverage net. I saw Culbertson had one there. Curtis looked like he had one on the front of his kayak. Pretty sure Cantwell's using the same leverage net here. Great net.
I just don't keep it. I don't like my net in front of me, so I keep it behind me. So I do the flip and grab. Like, that's how I do it.
To keep it behind me in a rod holder, standing straight up, so I could reach back with my left hand and grab it, because that's where I like to scoop them up at on that left side. But that's bit me a couple times where it took me a second to get it out of the rod holder. It got caught up on something, or it got a hook in the net back there, and I've got a fish on the line, and I'm trying to de-hook a net. So now I've got to have it just like there.
Nope. Knock on wood. The only time I've ever got snagged, it was in the front, and I got stuck on something. So I was like, never again. I'm like, no, we're done. We're going back.
Dylan hooked up again, maybe. Jumped off, maybe.
You got the elusive.
See if you get that follow-up bite. He's working it.
Yep. Calm down.
There it is. Nice work, Dylan. Stayed calm and collected there as that first initial bite got off. Kept working it, waited for that follow-up bite. Could potentially put him up in front here. Back over to Anderson. Searching for that elusive second fish. There it is.
There we go. There's number 2. Heinrich's confirmed at 14.5.
Sitting right on the point right there. There you go. Mr. Anderson. Nicely done. Second fish in the boat. Jump him up there, put him in 5th place. Oh, nice fish. 16 and a quarter there for Mr. Brian Anderson. There you go, guys. Heinrich jumps up into 1st, 7 fish.
Inching close to that century mark.
Almost there. Anderson finishes up with his 2nd fish, that nice 16 and a quarter. There's a good view. Anderson and Curtis. Curtis hooked up right there. Showing off now in front of Anderson. That looked like a nice fish he just scooped up. Gonna change our leaderboard once again here as we're on short time here. Just over 51 minutes left in this session. Curtis confirmed. That will put him over the century mark. First angle there. There you go. 7 fish, 103 and a half. Got a new leader. Heinrich and Curtis battling it out here for 1-2. Culbertson not too far behind in 3rd position right now. So, man, the action is definitely heated up.
It's
a couple
heating
of these
up.
guys
Fish are getting
have
caught.
their spot. Back over Cody Salzman's shoulder here.
Still
Working
wondering.
it through that shallow grass right there. You can kind of see some pads starting to form, ready to pop up. Working it through those premature lily pads and that grass and that little shallow flat right there.
That's some of my favorite places to fish.
Oh, me too.
It's just when they start to come up, usually there's always something rolling up in there.
Anderson, after getting that 2nd fish on the scoreboard, getting back into action here. See Cody Salzman there, working towards the tunnel. He's going real shallow now, folks.
This is why we fish from little plastic boats.
Yes,
Throw in
sir.
places bass boats cannot.
This spot here where Cantwell's at right there. Such a cool little spot. You can see all the reeds and there's stumps, there's pads, there's grass. This little area that he's back in there offers a little bit of everything as far as habitat. And boom. Fish number 2 for Mr. Cantwell in the net. Every time we cut back over to Culbertson's back view like this, where we're getting that side profile, I always think we've got Chris Zaldane out there on a kayak fishing with us. That stash.
Fish number 2. Hopefully I can catch some more here. Only got about an hour left.
Salzman's going deep back into that channel.
Way back there.
Cantwell confirms his second fish there at 12.5. That's gonna keep him there at 6th place. I think that's enough to overtake Anderson. Salzman's cutting back through the tunnel. Go back to Curtis here. Oh, Mr. Anderson found his number 3. Gotta get it in the boat, though. Nice looking fish. Fish is girthy. Big old belly on her. Definitely working that jig right there off that point.
Jig fishing,
Can
my
do.
favorite.
Catch a few more down.
Cantwell's second fish release. Anderson's got one in the boat. We'll see what that scores. 16. That so his second and his third fish. 16.25 followed by a 16. Those add up super quick.
Definitely add up quick.
Here we go. Curtis still on top. 103.5. Dylan Heinrich 99.5. Hot on his trails. Culbertson sitting there in 3rd spot. Cody's just getting exercise now. I think he gave up on that area.
He's
Went back through the culvert and is headed back out into the lake now. But he's got to hurry. Like we said, he's on short time. You don't have a whole lot of time to go exploring, so he is
he's on the move. That's
covering some territory pretty quick with those paddles.
That is the downside when you're paddling. You can't fish and move at the same time.
It's hard. It is definitely difficult. Another leak. Another look at that leaderboard. All anglers have submitted fish. Cantwell just added his second. Anderson just added his third. Ryan Curtis, your leader. Dylan Heinrich right behind him. Both top 2 anglers, both with 7 submissions. Curtis over that 100-inch mark. It's always a fun number to see.
That's
anytime
exciting.
You break that century number.
That always just makes you feel good.
Right on.
It makes you feel better when you do it in 5, but 7's okay too.
Yeah. So these guys are short time, about 45 minutes left in competition. If anything happens here in this break, we'll definitely post it up on the screen as usual. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, Cody is making a move.
He's making moves.
Seems like some of these other guys have definitely set up shop.
Dialed in. They were locked down their spots. They're like, I'm just going to grind this out and see if I can catch everything that is living here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. There you go. Curtis with another fish here in the break, 13.25 he added to his total. So that's going to keep adding his mark. It's going to put him up around the 126 something range. Or 116, I'm sorry. So Ryan Curtis on a hot streak right now. 8th fish just confirmed. Going to put him out in front. Dylan Heinrich got some ground to make up now. This is going to be exciting as we head down to the stretch here.
Who's going to jump who's? Or is everything going to stay the same? Or more fish going to catch? Someone going to catch that? Is someone catching a loose 20-incher?
These guys are all pretty spaced out here on the lake, so it's interesting to see who's going to catch what from where. Curtis and Anderson are obviously fishing pretty close, but everybody else is pretty much in their own little territory right now on the lake. So it's going to be exciting here as we're about to enter our last segment of competition here that we're going to show tonight. And Curtis again.
With another one.
Another one on the board.
12-incher, so that'll put him.
That is definitely extending his lead now as we are on short time. His 9 fish at 128.75, putting a pretty decent lead between him and Heinrich. Culbertson's still on the hunt. Salzman's still on hunt. Still plenty of time to rattle off 4 or 5 quick catches and bump you right back up in there.
Someone can bump right up. Curtis, you just keep catching them. Catch 15 fish.
Curtis, I think, is pretty locked in at the moment. It seems like, every other cast, he's submitting a fish at this point. So let's see how this plays out as we head back to fishing here in just a second. Heinrich making that move. Short time. You can see our countdown clicker up in the top right corner.
Yeah.
Just over 12 minutes left of fishing time here, folks. One final move for these anglers. Probably one more spot. Anderson there checking to see how much fishing time's left.
No, this entire tournament, no one can see the leaderboard. It's a
leaderboard is turned off
completely
for the
blind
competition.
leaderboard.
No one knows where they're at during the competition. For all of these World Series of Fishing qualifier events and the semifinals and finals, none of these anglers are aware of what their competitors have on the leaderboard. It is all blind fishing at this point. Again, the goal, just go out, submit as many as you can in that 3-hour time period. And we didn't even tell them the results until much later after this day of fishing here. So we left them wondering, and we had everyone keep it hush-hush on what you caught, what your total was. We kept it all hush-hush for a while there. We let it play out, let the drama and the suspense build up. For all of these episodes, again, a huge shout out to the production crew and the camera crew. You know, Catherine Gigi, Kyle Van Leuven, Hunter Anderson, Cody Hart, Grant Bennick, Matt Diesel, everybody involved in the production of these World Series of Fishing qualifier episodes. Now, for you anglers that go out and you have a camera on your boat, a GoPro, maybe one, maybe two, and you try to condense down all that footage and get it edited out into a nice little video for yourself, that takes quite a bit of time to do. But when you start adding in 2 and 3 cameras per kayak, plus 2 and 3 cameras on camera boats,
that's a lot of work.
Overhead footage, and to condense all that down, get everything edited, audio edited, to create these really cool productions that you're watching right now. There is a lot of involvement and a lot of time that goes into that. So huge thank you, huge shout out to everybody that participated and that was involved on the production side of things to make this World Series of Fishing happen. These anglers coming out and traveling and participating in these events was so nice of them to want to be able to do this, the first ever World Series of Fishing challenge. And very proud of how all of this turned out, all the hard work for all the anglers, all the production team. Great work, everybody. Next week's episode, we are going to do a condensed version of the Roots Division. So we've seen our Tri-Cities start us out. We moved across state over to Lakeshore, shot back across the state over to the Huron Division here. And next week will be our Roots Division, finish out the 4 qualifier divisions.
I'm just going to stop and grab some Mickey
And we'll
D's.
head on to the semifinals.
Alrighty?
Alright, love you.
I'll let you know when I get on the rope.
Alright, be safe.
Alright, love you.
Salzman's got to be working up a sweat by now. Covered quite a bit of territory. I just gave our production team and all these anglers a shout out. And again, huge shout out to the World Series of Fishing as Salzman hooks up again here, just under 8 minutes. Huge shout out to the sponsors, our partners over at Old Town Canoes and Kayaks. Huge thank you for all you guys do for our anglers and for the Topwater series. Big shout out to Lines and Fab Work. We've talked about them a couple times tonight, but can't thank them enough for all the hard work and labor that they are doing to support anglers everywhere with those beautiful trailers. And of course, Yak Attack. Thank you so much, John and everybody over at Yak Attack, longtime Topwater series sponsor. Look forward to what we have in store with all of these brands for the 2022 season. Amazing trailers, amazing kayaks, and top-notch accessories for those guys. Cody Salzman adds a 13.5 to the leaderboard, right at 7 minutes of fishing time left.
These last-minute fish can definitely change up the tournament standings.
They can make you or break you. Are we muted? Ryan Curtis here. Adding to that lead. Short time. Less than 6 minutes left.
That's
Trying to get another one on the board to secure that top position.
That's number 10 for Ryan, isn't it? If I
Yep.
count, remember. So that's our first
Double
double
digit
limit.
fish. Double limit. Confirmed, 13 inches there. Ryan Curtis continued to add to his lead at this point. Going to be hard for these anglers in the last 5 minutes to make up a 42-inch deficit here
Yeah.
on short time. That's tough fishing. So Ryan Curtis up in that number 1 position. Looks like he may hold on to that for this leaderboard check here. Heinrich in second place, 7 fish, 99.5. Cody Salzman in third. 5 fish limit with 72.5. Super respectful. Culbertson, 4th place, 5 fish, 64 inches. Anderson in 5th place, 3 fish, 45.25. Cantwell, 6th place, 2 fish, 18.25. And Cody Smiley, that lone fish at 12.75. But hey, a day fishing is a good day fishing, no matter
Hey,
if
at least
what
you
you're
got
catching,
you got
right?
on the board. You didn't zero. No one wants to zero. Sometimes that's how it's be.
It's just fun being out there on a day like that day. Beautiful day, nice spring fishing. It's fun just being out on the water. Again, such a beautiful lake. I know we talked about it numerous times, but if you guys get the chance, you want to go do some fun fishing, you want to go out and fish a lake that you know you can catch some fish on, highly recommend Wolverine Lake here. Beautiful lake, lots of room to spread out. Again, different types of habitats. You've got the shallows, you've got a couple deep spots, you got grass, you got stumps, you got weeds, pads, you name it. Lots of points and breaks on this lake.
It definitely looks like an interesting lake. Looks like something
Fun
that you
place
can
to
find
go spend an afternoon for sure.
any way you like to fish. It looks like you can do it here.
Love fishing those points right there, like Salzman just tossed up at. Anytime I come across one of those points, I'm always looking for that point. I'm looking for the secondary point, trying to figure out a pattern of how bass and other fish are moving around that point, depth-wise, and what I need to do there. Always try to find one of those points and a secondary point that I can cast up into. Take another look back over at Anderson. Trying to make something happen here. Curtis's last fish confirmed there at 13.25.
Now he's just padding stats.
Now he's just bragging. At this point, I'm fairly certain that Brian, sitting here in view, and Curtis are maybe 20 yards away from each other. And I believe we're in the camera boat right in between them, watching both of them simultaneously. So it was fun getting to sit there and watch those guys. With about 2 minutes left, one last peek at that leaderboard. short time fishing here. Curtis add to that lead. 11 fish, 155 inches, and just under 3 hours of fishing. Take another peek over at Culbertson. But I think it's safe to say now that we are on the 2-minute countdown that Ryan Curtis from Grand Blanc, Michigan, fishing out of that Papaya Hobie Pro Angler, is in the driver's seat. I think that's going to do it for this episode. I think Kyle just wanted to show your face to the crowd there.
Yeah, like they haven't seen it already. That's okay.
Love doing this. Love watching these anglers go out and compete, whether it's in person or a stream like this. Awesome production. So fun to watch these guys go out and fish. Done a tremendous amount of watching tournaments through the boater perspective, you know, cameraman on the boat with the angler, which is great.
It's nice to watch this.
Watching something like this, totally different.
Like this is how I fish. Like I don't fish out of a bass boat. So
me either, right? I enjoy these productions just for that reason. This is what we're into. I like being down on the water. Those overhead views of watching all these guys go out and fish. If you're paying attention, maybe you're learning something, how they're catching their fish, how they're submitting. You can see what we're throwing. You can see the technique of how they're using it. You can definitely learn some things here. Watching productions like this, I don't know that there's anybody else out there in the country right now putting on kayak fishing productions like this. So definitely something to pay attention to as we keep moving forward and we keep building and making this program a better broadcast for everybody. I think that is fishing
that should be
time.
lines out. Everyone should be heading back to
putting
the
their
ramp.
poles away. And that's going to do it, folks, for your Huron Division qualifier for the Topwater World Series of Fishing. Ryan Curtis, an outstanding day at 155 even with his 11 fish total. Went out, had himself a day. He found that one spot, and I don't believe he left it all day. Why would you? He just
locked in. He's like, I'm here.
So thankful I was there to watch it and know where he was at, so I can join him next time.
Notes and be like, hey.
No, I would never do that. The stats prove it. But Ryan Curtis, again, congratulations, sir. Hell of a day out there on the water. And Dylan Heinrich right behind him, that underdog champ, finishing second place in this qualifier. Cody Salzman had himself a day.
Congratulations to all our anglers, all our competitors.
Something to note, Cody Salzman being up there at the top, you know, near the top of that leaderboard out of a paddle-only kayak. So for all you anglers that are maybe nervous about coming out because you don't have the super fancy motorized kayak.
You don't need a fancy boat.
You don't need it. You just need something that floats. Come out there and participate. Find a lead near you and
kayak, some rods, a life jacket, and get yourself out there.
Absolutely. It was just a few years ago. We had a MKT Angler of the Year, that came from a sit-in, you know, and went on to have a hell of a fishing career. We're seeing guys like Salzman in a paddle-only kayak come out and produce and you know, whatever works for you. Whatever gets you on the water. Whatever gets you out there fishing, right? So that's the most important thing. Find something that just gets you out on the water. Come out. And it's at that point that you can start seeing everybody else's setup and then get in a mindset of maybe that's what you want to work your way into.
Like, hey, I want to work my way into this, or I want to do this, or like, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy in my paddle
Absolutely.
kayak.
Start budgeting yourself and putting aside what you want to get to, and you'll have it one day. But most important thing is just coming out and getting started.
Come out, get your line wet, have some fun in the water, catch a few
no reason
fish.
to be intimidated by all these other setups. Come out, have a good time, get yourself fishing, join a league near you.
Yep, we're not that scary, folks.
Meet some good people. Maybe you can be on the 2022 World Series of Fishing broadcast. So I hope to see new anglers out there coming out. If you're down in that southeast Michigan area, go check out Wolverine Lake like we just previewed here for this qualifying event. Beautiful lake, obviously lots of fish in there to be caught.
I just want
It's a
to
good
see
time, man.
just more people on the water, more people having fun, more people catching fish.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Good people, fun fishing. So once again, congratulations, Ryan Curtis, your Huron Division qualifying champ, moving on to the semifinal on the east side there. So that's going to do it for us. I am Mike Anderson. As always, Matthew Diesel sitting here next to me.
Great
Thanks
time,
for tuning
guys.
in. Yep. Great
Peace,
time.
everyone.
We'll see you next time, folks.
We are Yak Attack, a leader in watercraft accessories and mounting systems made in small town America with a built for life guarantee. From rod holders to fish finder mounts to cleats, tie downs, and more, Yak Attack products attach quickly and easily to your boat or kayak, including virtually all built-in track systems. For more information or to find a dealer near you, visit us at yakattack.com.